நீங்கள் எழுதி எடுத்து வந்துருக்கீங்களா? ஓகே, இங்கே இருக்குது.
Before starting 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, I just talk about my ministry over there. It is helpful for you for your prayer. I start with the two case studies. One is from Rekchan Buljang Kulmote. He is from Maharashtra, and he has been working as a church planter for many years, and he is one of the leaders. Before we started this training program with them, had a place, there were only 10 members in the church, and all the 10 members are assorted groups. You know that I'm keep on telling, in India, in the rural villages, 80% are ladies and only 20% are gents. So most of them are ladies. Then he started the training program for the congregation. The first booklet is called The Becoming a Disciples, how to understand the gospel and then how to witness the people. So he trained the leaders, trained the people over there. The next 2 years, it increased to 40. It's a kind of a 3 times growth over there. I asked what is the secret, and another one interesting factor is that 15 of them are families, like husband and wife. They are coming together, and it's very rare in small villages coming in 40 people and 15 are families. And I asked that reason for it. He told, previously we were very busy in making the people worshippers or believers, just to go and tell the gospel and make them believers. Now we are making each and everyone as a disciples.
Amen.
Quite a lot of difference between the believers and disciples. So disciples are going and making other people disciples, and that's the secret. This is another one. These pictures are taken from Maharashtra Village Ministries, where Dr. Kulotungan is working. He is working a very tremendous one. One of the best organization I have seen in India. That's even smaller but concentrated work. They are conducting a Shalom Mela every year. This is conducted very near to Chandrapur, and I happened to be there. There were among 800 people. Most of them are pastors, then the elders, then small group leaders. They are not calling all the believers together, and it's a very interesting time. And what I did, I call all the leaders and pastors. I trained them. I told them, why don't you take a class for each and everybody? They were telling that it's not possible to do this because after lunch people will sleep. I told that people will not sleep. You go and take it. So we have taken only one lesson, and that's from the booklet called Belonging to the Family of Families. That is talking about the church and how the church is a family and the individual family, how it's related to. And the portion I told them to take from Ephesians chapter 5 verses 22 to 6 verses 9. That's talking about the husband, wife, and parent, children, and then master, slaves. The whole group was divided into smaller groups, and all the leaders are sitting, and then they started teaching them in a circle. It's very interesting to see the people are sitting after 2 o'clock having a heavy meal in the place, and without sleeping they are actively involving and then discussing. And this person, he was saying that he is one of the elders. One of the questions was there, for the husband and wife relationship. The question was that, is it right a husband can beat his wife? You should not change the question. Okay, and Maharashtra villages, and then very tough, and then people, it's quite common in India that the people are beating their wives, and even in the villages. And this person is telling, yes, we have to beat wives, otherwise they will not obey us. This is the person he is one of the elders. And the discussion was going on, and they are teaching that why we should not beat our wives, and then how to love and the thing. And it was very lively, and they are digging the word of the Lord. Look at this. I love this picture because that they are sitting casually and opening the Bible at 3:30 in the afternoon session. They are reading the word. And when I am coming to this group, I just struck because of the discussion. What was they telling? Please see this girl that's sitting very next to the fan, and she's about 19 years, and she's going to the college first year. and she's from the small village, and she's the only girl who's going to the college, And this girl told, the question was that, no, husband should not beat his wife and he has to love and cherish. Then I asked how it's possible. Then he is telling that, then he is taking from the Genesis. Then what Jesus told. Then what Paul is telling. Then what Peter is telling. She is taking the whole book and then talking about husband should love his wife. And I just intervened and then I asked a question, if a husband beat his wife, what do you think? And so, she must be out of his mind. This girl is saying, why do you say like this? Who will beat his own body? Why is his own body? Who will beat? The person is out of his mind, is a mad fellow, or he is maybe drunkard, or he is maybe evil possessed. According to the Bible, only 3 people will beat their own body. So, a sober mind person could not beat. What I saw that when she is talking like a theologian, simple theologian, what even theologian could not understand, she is able to translate the whole thing, interpret it. What I am saying here, 2 things. The first one is talking about the quantitative growth from 10 assorted people to 40 people and 15 are families. The second one is qualitative growth. They are growing in their understanding the word of the Lord clearly and interpreting. This is what my ministry is, a Ekta network, and we are networking with the leaders. I am not a church planter and going and sending missionaries, and I'm very against this one, because the churches have to plant the churches and encourage the church pastors and leaders and elders to be trained and well developed, so that they will go on and they may send or they may go and plant the churches. You know that in India around, yesterday I was showing that, today also I will show that by 2000 there are more than 3,16,000 churches, that 316,000 churches. Now again the 13 years, I strongly believe there may be 10 lakh churches in India. If one church is adapting one village, India will be twice reached. That's it. Only 6,38,000 villages are there in India. One church is adapting one village and preaching the gospel, done the work. And we need not have a big, what is that, in the organization, big heads are not needed. We are adapting Build International, their curriculum, and I am one of the partners. There are so many partners in India. I am one on the medium level or smaller level, whereas the big partners are there. They are having 30,000 churches. I am working with only around 5,000 churches, and I am a very small medium partners, but I am one of the resource person for the training program. And this is called Build CBT. CBT means Church-Based Theological Education. So we can give the full theological education in the churches, and these are the advantages. I don't want to read it because I'm not very good in promotion. And this is a non-formal. Second one, what we are doing, that's Antioch School degree program. The same people who are in the top level, they should be trained to get their competency. This is God has given 5-year plan. This is the way that we wanted to do in 2014. Is it possible? Definitely it's possible. I need only 25 national level leaders, and if I'm training them, rest of the things will be automatically done by the people, because one has to take 10 or 3 or 5, that's it. And this is my progress report, what God has done, even with a very limited resources, and we have been doing the ministry. What now geared this year, we have come to here. This is the new one. This is our Antioch School degree program, and each person among the 30, from 50 to 500 churches they are ministering to. So if I am ministering, when I am ministering, then the number of the churches will increase more, because each person is going back and then training their own leaders. These are the training programs conducted in different places. We don't conduct a family retreat, a kind of a husband and wife alone and then children alone. We always say that the teaching should be given to the whole family. Any problem, household problem, children must sit over there and discuss or learn, and they have to obey over there. So we don't separate the church into smaller unit and saying that we are doing a great ministry. That's not the great ministry. We are really dividing the family. We don't want to do that one. Some of the ministry profile. He is our mentor from Build International, and this the whole section is belonging to this person. This is only one person he is relating to me, and each one has 5 to 50 churches. They are the leaders for the 5 to 50 churches. And this another time we conducted the national level training program. Each pastors are having again leading a bigger networks, bigger or smaller. She's my wife, and she's good. And what is the qualification for joining? The main qualification is not their education, their ministry position. For that what you are doing, we ask them to make a plan, and the plan is kind of this map. So each person have to make their map, and then they will join for the training program. If they are not having a ministry and they are not involving, we don't want to gown the people. We want to crown them with the ministry. That's very important. And Antioch School program, again we divided into smaller group. We start with not the subject, but with the character. The first one is we start with the character building, not the subject. Different places, ministries. This is the Acts course and our next level, higher level courses. All the booklets we made it in India. And yes, this is what we are now working with an apostolic network. Each leaders are having each one is a big network. They are all gathering together. This is very good for resourcing together. Printing 100 booklets and printing 5,000 booklets is cheaper. So when you are gathering together and then printing will be cheaper, resource will be more, and the solidarity will be very good. These are the leaders who came here. He is Kulotungan, you may be knowing. He is another person. This is the person I was telling. He is over here. He is from Maharashtra, and he is from Ambala, and he is in Tamil Nadu. He is in Andhra Pradesh. Again, last year we came over there, and 2 more leaders could not come. And to sustain it, we need leadership development programs from the degree level. This is my prayer points. Kindly pray for the prayer points. Mainly, I really want a kind of not a convenience sake of convenient based network, but rather they must have a kind of a heart-to-heart network. The reason is that if I give money, people will be with me. If I don't give money, people they will not be with me. I have never ever started any ministry with the money. I say the business can be started with the money, but the ministry with the dedication and then faith. So there is no money dealing with the one. But what the need for the money, for the printing we need money. And some of the places the people could not buy their lunch when they are gathering together for 3 days, their accommodation, mainly we need that kind of money. Otherwise travel we ask the people to take care of themselves. And we don't give any other things, but whereas many other organizations they give it. Can you see? Any questions if you have, I am glad to answer that. This is a faith ministry working with the churches, among the churches, with the churches. And we don't take any people who wanted to do theological education. We give only for the pastors and ministers of the gospel who are already in the ministry. So we are equipping already those who are in the ministry. Okay, a recap for the benefit of those who have come here yesterday, not come yesterday, and those who have come yesterday but didn't do their work. And the whole world is reshaping. George Hunter is telling that Christendom, the countries is thickly populated Christians is no more Christian now. They are becoming secular. And enlightenment, the knowledge is the God, is now dying. And once again we are in the apostolic age, is very equal to the New Testament time. The whole world is moving from north and west to south. And the Christianity is now no more is a Western religion. And India is a time for India. So more than anything we are thinking that India churches are growing. We saw that yesterday. Then this is a growth of the churches. We see how fast the church is growing in India. As I have brought the only one 20 years back of 1980 to 2000. And I give the two illustrations yesterday. Churches are growing faster, at the same time churches are not stronger. They are miles wide but the inch deep. This is the biggest problem. And millions are coming to the Lord, and then millions are going back. Two places, one is in Cambodia. There's a 400 churches were planted and that becoming a 40. That is also failing. In India, people are just roaming from one church to another church. They are just visited. Every day, every week they are visited. And I say that churches is kind of a super mall. Who is coming in, who is going out, no one knows. The churches are having a revolving door. 5 people are coming, 10 people are going out. This is the condition of the churches. But people are so happy because more people are coming to the Lord and coming to the church. But really we are saying people are not established in the faith. Yesterday I was telling, Solvadalam Unmai, 8 to 10 in the 10 cases, 2 cases from born again, spirit-filled Christians. I do not understand what does that mean. But having a family problem, very crude problem, immorality. Even the lady is telling that I don't want to live with you and I want to live with this boy. Among the Christians, it's a tragic end. Where we are going? And that lady, who was a Hindu lady, she is telling, who is this pastor that you married? She is asking in the TV. Who is that pastor? I want to see the pastor. What's happening? In another live store, there's Nia Nana, it's run by Gopinath. He is talking more Christian values. One of the questions, that what he was asking? Telling lie. And he is asking, has any one of the youngsters he is talking, has anyone has taught you we should not tell lie? You know what? No one there. I wonder, not even one Christian over there. An abortion, a Christian lady, a Christian doctor was sitting with a cross, and a non-Christian lady, a doctor is telling that, how can I kill a baby, whereas a Christian lady is telling, I will do abortion. I really, if it is not my TV, I would have broken, I would have just broken it. That's unfortunate, that's my TV. Hey, what's happening in the world? Where we are heading to? What kind of a world we are living? People are not established in the faith. There's another big problem. See, one of the greatest blessing is in Tamil Nadu, is mainly in Chennai, and the Christian population is more. Wherever you go, the fruit vendor, the roadside, they are Christians, and then the petrol bunk people, they are Christian, and the watchmen sitting outside in the hot sun, reading the Bible, they are Christian. Those who are coming in the for internet connection or a cell phone connection, they are coming seeing the photograph. No, I don't put the photos. The words are there. Are you pastor? Are you missionary? Yes, I am also a believer. And they are taking the Bible and they are asking questions. So it's very interesting. That's one side. At the same time, problems. People are not strong in the word of the Lord. They are not belonging to the church. They are just going to the church or attending the church. What is the problem? The problem is people are not well established in the word of the Lord. They are not knowing the word of the Lord. They are just going after the soothsayer or fortune sellers. They treat the pastors as a pujari, that's all. This is the problem. Christian families, Christians are not established. Then, massive lack of leadership. It will happen in the second generation. People will not be there. The second generation will not come to the Lord if you are not very carefully build your home. Then the major nominalism in the third generation. Then kind of a mixture of religion in the fourth generation, and the fifth generation you have to again re-evangelize them. A new work should be started. This is what I told yesterday in a place called the Janacholi, which is in Haryana, which is very near to Palwal and Faridabad. There were 70 or 80 years before there were a church. But when we went there, only one old man in the name of Aaron, nobody there in the church, in the village, all became non-Christians. Then again they are listening the gospel, coming to the church. A church building was built. This is very pathetic. I do not know how many places like that. How many have backslided? How many have gone back to their old faith? Lack of faith, lack of leadership, nominalism. Just naam ke vaste Christians. Just to go there and then sit and then come back. Or for namesake Christians. But what happened in the New Testament? We see that a tremendous growth in the New Testament time. In Acts of Apostles is a history of only 30 to 60, not even a 60, even 62. Yeah, 30 to 60, 62. That's the history. It's around 30 years history. It's not more than 30 years. Within 30 years, what happened? This is the growth. You can see that one. 3,000 people. First 120, 3,000, 5,000, multitude, many, large number. The word of the Lord grew and multiplied. Churches enjoyed peace. Word of the Lord grew and multiplied. The churches were established. And the word of the Lord spread. And from Jerusalem to Roman, the center of the Roman world has gone. When the Roman, when the church has gone to Rome, and Acts is stopping there because God's promise is fulfilled. Acts 1:8, at the end of the earth it will be known. Then in Romans 15 chapter 19 onwards, what Paul is saying that I have preached the gospel completely. The word is a completely, from Jerusalem to Illyricum. Where is that place? You can just see that one. This is the way that the churches were growing in the first century, the second century, the third century. They turned the Roman world upside down. 300 years. Gospel came to India with the Thomas in 52 AD, even before the whole Bible was written. Still we are minority. 16:5, Acts of Apostles. What you are saying? So the churches were strengthened in faith, understanding the gospel, understanding the teaching. There's a qualitative growth. And they grew in numbers every day. There's a qualitative growth. We can see the both in the Acts of Apostles. They were growing in numbers, they are growing in the faith. And we see that one very clearly, that how Paul was doing in Acts of Apostles. Regularly he was preaching the gospel and evangelizing in strategic cities, establishing the local churches, and entrusting to the faithful man. He was doing it cyclically for every time and every town. This is the way that he is establishing. And this is his strategy. He was praying for the churches once he planted. Again revisit the churches again. And establishing them. And if he is not able to go, he sent his team members, Timothy, Silas and Titus. And he wrote 13 letters. We see this one, the 13 letters he wrote, they are all very important because strategy was there. What was the strategy? That in the early days, he was writing 6 letters. 6 letters out of 13 was written in the early days. Why? He was establishing the churches to live out the gospel in and day out. 6 letters. And in the middle, what is the DNA of the church? Why the church is all about? What God wants to fulfill the church through the church. Ephesians, Colossians, Philemon, 4 letters from the prison in 60 and 62 he is writing. Then later days, before his death, he finished 2 Timothy, 1 Timothy, Titus and 2 Timothy. He is talking about the matured, qualified leaders, Christ-like character leaders. If the leaders are not good, the elders are not appointed, half-done work. That's why Titus 1:5 is telling that, he is telling, you go to all the cities and appoint elders and complete the work. Why he has to appoint the elders? Because people are coming inside, they are upsetting the families. In Tamil, very interesting that Mulu Kudumathayum kavilthu poduகிறார்கள். They are upsetting the whole families. They are bringing unnecessary things for their own benefit, for their own money, for their own belly. The elders and the leaders have to stop that one. That's what he is writing. And the thesis, what the thesis is, Paul, the big idea what I am talking in the 3 days, this is what. Paul's strategy of establishing the local church community at Thessalonica in the gospel plays an important role model that the local churches in any culture, in any point of time and any geographical position, should be established that they should live out their gospel faith in their formation days. If they are not clearly taught the gospel to live out, you cannot expect any fruit from them. Very clearly, this is what I found out in my own experience of church planting. Within the 3 to 5 years, we are not very clearly teaching the churches to live out the gospel. You can never change them. You can never change them. This is my thesis. Paul wrote to 2 of his early letters, and this letters is talking about, this is the intent, why he is writing. To establish the churches, there's not a Thessalonica as only one church, there may be many churches over there in a collective sense. To establish them in their living out their gospel faith in the context of their suffering persecution, and also going through moral lapses over there, and open to wrong teachings on the second coming of Jesus Christ, which triggered them toward disorderly life and as a busybody of the fine art of doing nothing. Just doing nothing and sitting and then eating. And he wanted to just really bring them back. Paul's concern was that the churches should be established in the gospel in his formation years. He insisted that instruction, commandments, tradition is not optional. It should be followed. And he is giving a weight. His writing is not just writing a casual letters. His writing is from the beginning is scripture. We have to read, interpret, understand, follow as the word of the Lord, as Christ is told. Planting the churches, we see that one. What did he do? We have seen that yesterday in the 17th chapter of Acts of Apostles, and he was preaching the gospel. I would see that how consistently, how briefly he is telling them that Christ had to suffer and rise from the dead. This Jesus I'm proclaiming to you is a Christ. How nice is that? How many of you have read the apostolic proclamation in the Acts of Apostles? Beautiful, beautiful. They are very clearly telling that one. What is that? This Jesus you killed in the hands of the Gentiles. God raised him on the 3rd day. We are the witnesses. Believe him, repent. He is the Christ. This is a formula. Can you just take with me to Acts of Apostles, 10th chapter. This is a beautiful place where the gospel the first time very clearly preached to the non-Jewish person, Cornelius, and previously he was preaching all the preaching to the Jewish people, but totally this is a non-Jewish person he is preaching. Acts of Apostles 10th chapter verses 34 onwards, he is telling that now God has to intervene with the hard-headed man Peter to mend him and bring him to preach the gospel to the non-Jewish person, a Greek, a Gentile person. And now he is preaching the gospel. Someone can read very nicely. It will be really good. If you want to understand what is the gospel is all about, this is what the apostle preached very clearly. Can you just read any one of you? Acts of Apostles 10th chapter 34 to 48. Yeah, 43. It's very good.
அப்பொழுது பேதுரு பேசத் தொடங்கி, தேவன் பட்சபாதம் உள்ளவர் அல்ல என்றும் எந்த ஜனத்திலாயினும் அவருக்கு பயந்திருந்து நீதியை செய்கிறவன் எவனோ அவனே அவருக்கு உகந்தவன் என்றும் நிச்சயமாய் அறிந்திருக்கிறேன். எல்லோருக்கும் கர்த்தராய் இருக்கிற இயேசு கிறிஸ்துவை கொண்டு அவர் சமாதானத்தை சுவிசேஷமாய் கூறி இஸ்ரவேல் புத்திரருக்கு அனுப்பின வார்த்தைகளை அறிந்திருக்கிறீர்களே. யோவான் ஞானஸ்நானத்தை குறித்து பிரசங்கித்த பின்பு கலிலேயா நாடு முதற்கொண்டு யூதேயா தேசம் எங்கும் நடந்த சங்கதி இதுவே. நசரேயனாகிய இயேசுவை தேவன் பரிசுத்த ஆவியினாலும் வல்லமையினாலும் அபிஷேகம் பண்ணினார். தேவன் அவருடனே கூட இருந்தபடினால் அவர் நன்மை செய்கிறவராயும் பிசாசின் வல்லமையில் அகப்பட்ட யாவரையும் குணமாக்குகிறவராயும் சுற்றி தெரிந்தார். யூதருடைய தேசத்திலும் எருசலேமிலும் அவர் செய்த எல்லாவற்றிற்கும் நாங்கள் சாட்சிகளாய் இருக்கிறோம். அவரை மரத்திலே தூக்கி கொலை செய்தார்கள். மூன்றாம் நாளில் தேவன் அவரை எழுப்பி பிரத்யட்சமாய் காணும்படி செய்தார். ஆயினும் எல்லா ஜனங்களுக்கும் பிரத்யட்சமாகும்படி செய்யாமல் அவர் மரித்தோரிலிருந்து எழுந்த பின்பு அவரோட புசித்து குடித்தவர்களும் தேவனால் முன்பு நியமிக்கப்பட்ட சாட்சிகளுமாகிய எங்களுக்கே பிரத்யட்சமாகும்படி செய்தார். அன்றியும் அவர் உயிரோடு இருக்கிறவர்களுக்கும் மரித்தோர்களுக்கும் தேவனால் ஏற்படுத்தப்பட்ட நியாயாதிபதி என்றும் ஜனங்களுக்கு பிரசங்கிக்கவும் சாட்சியாய் ஒப்புவிக்கவும் அவர் எங்களுக்கு கட்டளையிட்டார். அவரை விசுவாசிக்கிறவன் எவனோ அவன் அவருடைய நாமத்தினாலே பாவ மன்னிப்பை பெறுவான் என்று தீர்க்கதரிசிகள் எல்லோரும் அவரை குறித்தே சாட்சி கொடுக்கிறார்கள் என்றார்.
அதற்கு பின்புதான் thereafter we see that the spirit of the Lord is coming, descending on them, and they are speaking in tongues, and they are joining in the church through the baptism. Very clearly the gospel is preached. Can you see that any point is left out? Very clearly is telling each and every point over there. I really want you all just to memorize when you are telling the gospel this one. This is really that. This is what you are telling, that if the Christ has suffered and raised from the dead, and this Jesus I am proclaiming to you is a Christ. This is what he did. And what was the result? The result was there were so many people came to the Lord. And there was a commotion. And the commotion has happened because his ministry. Can you see this one? In November 50 to January 51, he came over there. From November 50, he came there from Philippi. Paul came to Thessalonica, and he abruptly had to finish his ministry because of the commotion and unrest. In 51, January 51, he left, and he did all the work over there in the initial stage. He preached the gospel and also established a church, staying over there, teaching something. Yesterday I was telling you that how the church was founded in the gospel, then how the churches were taught and established shaped in the gospel ministry. Then he sent back Timothy and Silas to follow it up the ministry. Acts of Apostles we can say, and the Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians 3rd chapter we saw that one yesterday, and they were there for about 6 months. Then they are coming back the early summer to Thessalonica, and at the same time, so within no time that he is writing the 1 Thessalonians from Corinth. Then within 1 or 2 months in the later or middle summer, he is writing the 2 Thessalonians, and very quickly. Why did he do that one? He has a great concern that if the church is not the pillar and support of the truth, there is no other possibilities of bringing the truth to the world, the watching darkened world. This is the plan of the Lord. The plan of the Lord is that the church is light to the world and the salt to the earth and the fragrance of the God's glory. If you and I are not doing that one, no one can do that one. God just depend on you. God just put his own name in our state and has appointed you and me by shedding his blood. He has spent, and this is another time when I am coming, next time we will work out on the Ephesian church. That's a beautifully they have planted the church. You understand, please? Paul has never ever done any work, half done work. This is what we are saying, that establishing the 3 words. First one is founding, then shaping, then stabilizing. We can see 3 S's: starting, shaping, stabilizing. ஆரம்பித்தார், அதை அமைத்தார், அதை உருவாக்கினார். அதாவது something you can make like this. Conversion was the first one, then the concept of the tradition and challenging the prevailing wrong tradition or old tradition. 3 ways you can see that one. Founding the community, that again we can see that what happened yesterday, that we read the whole first chapter, and we know very clearly their conversion was so clear, and because they said that therefore we need not to say anything about it, for they themselves, people from outside, 2 countries, 2 regions, Achaia and Macedonia, and also everywhere, they are talking about how the people are living out the gospel, how they are telling the gospel out. One of the evidence that you are saved, one of the evidence you understand the gospel, you cannot keep quiet. you will definitely tell the gospel to someone else with the neighbors. And a really born again believers can never stop him to talking about Jesus Christ. All the time, every time you will be talking about Jesus Christ. They will find an opportunity or create an opportunity to tell the witness. This is what we are all about. And therefore, what kind of reception you gave? They all tell how you turn to God from idols to serve the living and true God. And you also wait for the Son, His Son from heaven, who is raised from the dead. Jesus, who rescues us from the coming wrath. Gospel. Everywhere. Everybody is talking about. This is a question yesterday we finished. Why do you think Paul was so concerned about establishing the Thessalonian community in the gospel in its formation days? Then I put that another question, so it may not be relevant to us, but one thing is relevant, how far we are establishing our children in the gospel in their formation days. Or we take it for granted they will pick up here and there. Most of the time we understand that one. Children, they go to Sunday school. What is the responsibility of the parents and mainly the fathers to teach them godly living? To teach them the gospel. You are the one who has to live out the gospel to them. You are the one they are imitating. You are the one who are heroes and heroine for your children over there. What is our history of being established in the gospel? What are the consequences if the churches are not established in the gospel in its formation days, or the children are not established in the formation days, in their early days? Why do you think you living the gospel relate to your witnessing and mission? Before going, when you are going to finish this one, I am going to the next session. Before that, I just want to finish. But before ending, I really want to know, how many have just read the 1st and 2nd Thessalonians? 1, 1.5, 2, okay, someone was reading, okay, some people didn't come, so excuse. How was that reading? Do you find that something digging out more and more, something in the context? We have very often just ignored or overlooked saying what a pastor told. This is what a pastor told. Pastor, I have never ever read these 2 books except in the death places. Funeral service only I was reading this one. Nowhere else I read. Hey Baba, read it to the church. But the living people, those who are spiritually dead, why you are reading to the physically dead person over there? And also very quickly they will finish it quick. They don't understand what they are reading, then finish it out. I told you this is the treasure of establishing the church in the gospel over there. And how to train the leaders. I just want you to turn back your left or right, just to discuss the second one and the third one, the fourth one, third and fourth. What are the consequences if the churches or our generation, we can say our children, our grandchildren, and even ourselves will take it, are not established in the gospel in their formation days? What will be the consequences? What the fear is coming on you? Then, why do you think you are living in the gospel? Not just teaching the gospel, preaching the gospel. Yesterday I was telling that whenever Paul was telling, he is always telling about, I preach the gospel, exactly the Greek word is telling, I lived out the gospel. The right translation should be, I lived the gospel. So why do you think you are living in the gospel relates to your witnessing in the community? Can you just turn around and then for 1 hour that we can discuss? It's not a time pass. But really, yesterday I really wanted to give a time. I could not give time. This is the time. Those who are not read, those who read, this will be a reiterating. Shall we turn around? I'll come on and join with some other people if they are alone. And turn around and see that then discuss over that. Understand? Tamil lo oru thara sollita Telugu lo cheppochu అర్థం అయిపోయింది కదా హిందీ में बोलता हूँ गुजराती छे कोई okay just we can have that same where I am coming back
First on the slide through photo.
which one
The discussion.
this is exactly
Last 2 points is there.
last 2 point quicker எத்தனை பேர் வேணாலும் I don't care but all people have to talk no preaching that's a big group we can make it smaller okay
Break.
உட்கார்றதுக்கு அவ்வளவு நேரம் ஆயிடுச்சு. சீக்கிரம். ஆமா இங்க
Church will never grow. Church will never grow 1 point.
church will never grow
Consequences if churches are not established.
They will follow. They will follow.
நான் சும்மா
No, basically, the people they don't know what God did. That is
Another question is that how many churches are now really preaching the right gospel? One. That's a main question. How many churches are really preaching the gospel? And how many churches are really teaching the gospel? Maybe you are fortunate over there, the church is preaching, but you come across Tamil Nadu, I say that the gospel is not preached anywhere else.
consequence would be a dead church.
Dead people are the church, I can say dead church. Dead people are the church.
Yeah, indirectly implies that.
No, right.
They won't be prepared for second coming.
But there are so many people are now preparing for second. They are talking only about second.
But if something happens like they will just give up. Yeah, if the persecution or something happens to them, like sickness or something, then they'll say like it's not working.
Feel like a house without a foundation, and when the storm comes like that, it's hard for me to stand.
Also, when a new believer comes, believing in the gospel, when you preach, the new believer comes, and then when he sees, if we don't practice, if we don't live, that he doesn't learn that he has to live out the gospel, what he learned, then he is going to join the others who are not practicing. Then the new believer also, he doesn't grow, he starts to fade. So hypocrisy, and then everybody acts.
Hypocrisy, yeah. Hypocrisy.
Everybody.
Mostly you are answering my first question. Really right, that's right, but really that was a concern for Paul. See, if one church, the older church is not grown, and the new church will never be, they will keep that as a model. The old Christian, always there's the old Christian, that Christians are, இவங்க சொல்லுவாங்க நம்ம பரம்பரை they are all hereditary Christians and you are a new person. British is
One more thing is there is no foundation.
that's not foundation.
So then there will not be a passion for spreading the gospel, because even if they don't know the gospel,
They will have the passion for the sea and then for elections and fighting and divisions, caste system, everything. Okay, now we'll see. What about our children are not founded in the gospel? What will be the consequence of the children are not founded in the gospel?
You said something about third generation, fourth generation. There won't be a thing called church. That's no gospel. When they grow up, their children will not know what church means. They may not even know what's the definition of the church. They may not even know that there was a person called Jesus. That continues.
Yeah, I look at children in the stages, kids in the generation in stages, like formative kids stage. Then when they become young, and then when they get settled in the family. They are not well established in the gospel when they are young, small children. And then when they become young, it's going to be very hard for them to stand in the teaching and the power of the gospel. And when somehow if they survive and get into the family, then they are going to make a kind of nominal family or hypocritical family or a dying family, spiritually dying.
I've seen that kind of a tendency has already set in that families.
Keep it down.
Like a great period, I can say, in the opportune time. You are not working in an opportune time. When the darkness is coming, nobody can work. நீங்க விட்டு இல்ல நீங்க எனக்கு சொல்லணும் இல்லையா அவங்களுக்கு
oh, you leave it.
அதான் நீங்க சொல்லணும்
Excuse me, buddy.
What are the thoughts you had yesterday in what did you discuss in your dining table? Any thought? Have you carried along the discussion or working on that?
Family will individually act.
Yeah, individually.
We actually went through one thing, just like the way Paul is saying, like, not only follow Christ, you follow me. You just take an example from me. How I love you, you have to love one another. So that need a real words. Need a real kind of, I mean, since I'm like living out the gospel. So I don't know whether we even imagine to say somebody just like they live like me, like I love you love. So that much they were genuine and that much they were lived out the gospel. So that's kind of a model for any mentor or any pastor, anybody who thinks that I can teach others. So I would see that as a model. So can I say like that? Like, love yourself
ஆக்டிவா இருக்கும் இல்ல
அதாவது அது பாஸா ஃபெயில் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா இப்பயே சொல்லிடலாம் ஃபெயில்.
witnessing and mission. Witnessing and
People are saying that
Pastor இந்த Tuesday பேசினாங்கல்ல அதுக்கு ரிலேட் பண்ணேன் நான். நீங்க இல்ல அதுல வந்து சும்மா நம்ம காஸ்பல் சொல்லிட்டு போறது, அதாவது நம்ம அவங்களுக்கு விட்னஸா இருக்கணும், அவங்கள பார்ப்பாங்க, நம்மளோட லைஃப் பார்ப்பாங்க, பார்த்துட்டு இல்லை இப்போ சாரி பாஸ்டர் பண்ணது நான் அந்த அன்பா நான் சொன்னேன் சாட்சி நாங்கள் அங்கே போயிருந்தப்ப அவங்க சொன்னாங்க எனக்கு ஜீசஸ்ல காட் தெரியாது, பாஸ்டரோட லைஃப்பை பார்த்து தான் ஃபஸ்ட்டு எனக்கு அவர் பிடிச்சிச்சு, அவர் பிடிச்சனால அவர் ஒர்ஷிப் பண்ணுற அந்த காட் பற்றி தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி நம்மளும் மிச்சம் சாட்சியாக இருக்கணும். அது இல்லாம சும்மா போய் ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் சொல்றதுனால
ப்ளீஸ் பண்ணணுன்ற அவசியம் இல்லை. லைஃப்லேயே வாழ்ந்து காமிச்சாலே அதுவே
That's not the right model. That's basically they are going for their own self.
அதாவது gospel changes people.
They are going for their own.
அந்த சேஞ்சை மற்றவங்க பார்க்க முடியல அப்படின்னு சொன்னா கட்டாயம் gospel
They are not living.
ஜெனரேட் பண்ணல அப்படின்னா இல்லைன்னு சொன்னா அதை நம்ம இன்னும் கேர்ஃபுல்லாக போயிட்டு அந்த gospel அந்த எப்படி அந்த டிரான்ஸ்ஃபார்மிங் பவர் ஆஃப் த gospel அதை இவங்க வந்து வித்தியாசமாக இருக்கிறாங்க, இவங்க வந்து பெக்யூலியர் பீப்புள், திஸ் பர்சன் இஸ் a peculiar person, அடுத்தவங்க என்னை பற்றி சொல்ல முடியலன்னா காஸ்பல் இந்த விட்னஸிங் இதில் வந்து அதான் விட்னஸிங்ன்றதே பர்சனல் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ். ஸோ when we talk அது வந்து நம்ம லைஃப் அதுதான் எக்ஸ்போனில் say you shall say or you shall share witness, but it will be that's more of showing the power of life.
If you are not going to form to give the formation or foundation to the children of God,
பிரச்சனை என்னன்னா what kind of formation the gospel is.
don't give one that.
70s low understanding, 80s low understanding, இன்னைக்கு வந்து power and effect of the gospel is how prospered you are after accepting Christ. So then if it is convenient with us, they will be with us, otherwise they will go to others and that will cause them to prosper.
I believe in
Right? So that core point,
the main
changing,
important
character changing,
is to live in the kingdom of heaven, not the
இதெல்லாமே
earthly
express பண்ணலாம்.
luxury or things. So if I am a father who wants ultimate thing for my son, not the temporary joy, I will focus on giving them the gospel and then doing
Anything. நம்ம personal life ல gospel நிறைய பேர் சொல்லிருக்கோம். So இப்போ இந்த question சம்பந்தப்பட்டு பார்க்கும்போது how living in the gospel relates to
personal thought அதாவது பைபிள்குள்ள இருக்குதான். If we don't live the gospel, comparatively we will not be able to very difficult that we are living. If you don't be able to trust somebody, that person will not change. That person doesn't change, and there is no way there is not any mission activity through the individual or collectively. Our mindset is still following. We cannot reach our own neighbor. Purpose is defeat. Every day that we are not really growth of what are more spiritual hours. We have getting to for everything like everybody else in the world. So we just following the schedule blindly. And then
the gospel should, the living of the gospel should start from individual change, family change, within the church, then it goes beyond. So on the recent up and the regulator Ephesians and like he was stressing more how we are living out with other believers, how we are living with children.
Even though we know
So like, and also he's keep building the model like, as I love you and as Christ love each love you and sacrificing and the man. So the let's start work out within the church and then it should go on.
That's what exactly that I'm coming with. You are talking about the last one. You live out the gospel and the witnessing. Every opportunity.
Yeah, that's what happened with the uncle we are our missionary. And for 3 years nothing happened, zero results. And the people were scolding him, everything. And you are getting money, other missionaries are giving us money, you are not giving money to us. And what are you doing with that money? That's what the people were asking for 3 years. And but they saw his life for 3 years, consistently living I would say the gospel. And now in 3-4 places they have services within 6 months. But I was so surprised to see, know that, like, how come Paul established a church within 3 years?
That's really we are going to talk about this one after this. Within 2 or 3 months, he appointed the elders over there. He found the people. Discernment.
Yeah, that's how they say.
3 months. And even Timothy was a young fellow, 18 years old. Just joined on only 4 or 5 months before. Now he's sending Timothy as the establishing person. He's telling that just like me, I'm sending co-laborer is this.
So it's not only from a casual ministry to intense ministry, but it's like a wartime ministry.
Because exactly the wartime is like co-soldier. Co-soldier. It's a big problem over there. Already they really wanted to put him in prison. Philip he was in prison. Here also he escaped, narrowly escaped because of Jason. It's a really tremendous work. Somewhat, I can say that the enormous gift of the Lord, what God is bestowing with the minister of the gospel. And that's the way that he's giving a model for us. How we establish the churches. There's one thing I am just always telling. Wherever you are, wherever I am preaching, wherever funeral service or marriage or birthday party or anywhere I'm preaching, I will always tell the gospel. I will tell the gospel. I never ever finish my message without telling the gospel. Any message in Christmas or anything is gospel. So this Jesus who came to this world, died on the cross, resurrected on the 3rd day, and he has given the commandment, is going to come back, and bring him again to death. And he is the Christ, if we believe him, our sins will be forgiven. And we have the blessings of the Holy Spirit and the fellowship of the churches. And this is what the gospel is all about. So that's the one thing that repeatedly again and again and telling the church itself to understand the great the sacrificial death of Jesus Christ for our lives. Then therefore, since they are believers, in one of my relatives, my wife's relatives, he was a very good man, really good man, and a spiritual person. He died, and his house was in the place where many Brahmins were living, and the pastor was conducting this funeral service. I was there. He allowed another pastor to come and preach. What did he know? He preached about the ghost. He preached about the ghost. I was really upset. He was a man of God. He lived there as the gospel, and people are just watching over. He is preaching about the ghost. And ghost of the Christian person. The ghost told, I am a Samuel, like this. Why people don't preach the gospel? Teach the gospel over there.
But once he gets the maturity, and when he really just follows the whole thing, what we need to do, once he attains that age where he can understand stuff, then it is easier for him.
Hope you are having
அதான் நீங்க முதல்ல சொன்னீங்க சம்மர் நீங்க சொன்னீங்க ஆக்சுவலாக இந்த தடவை எனக்கு ஒரு ஐடியா இருந்துச்சு வர மாதிரி எனக்கு ஒர்க் எங்கள் சார் ரொம்ப நான் இங்கே உள்ள அந்த ஜூலைனா நல்லது ஏன்னா ஆகஸ்ட் வந்து செப்டம்பர் இந்த ஆகஸ்ட் செப்டம்பர் எனக்கு அக்டோபர் அந்த லாஸ்ட்ல நவம்பர் நான் போயிட்டு திரும்ப வெரி காசு அப்படி இருந்தாலும் சேர்ந்து வைக்கணும் முன்னாடி வச்சுருந்தா செப்டம்பர் லாஸ்ட் அந்த மாதிரி அக்டோபர் ஏறி நேராக போயிடும் அந்த மாதிரி அந்த